This reform reaffirms our commitment to dignity and support for those who serve our nation.
Embrace tolerance, respect our diversity, and reject divisible rhetoric, President Tinubu advocates as inaugurates 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem. Journalist, federal government reiterate resolve against authoritarian rule, says press freedom is non-negotiable.
Never in our history has any person or government succeeded in suppressing the media permanently.
Ray of hope for abducted school children and teachers of Catholic school in Niger State. Federal government assures safe return. Hello, and nice to have you join us on the Network News. I am Elizabeth Omori. Reading from Lagos is Hingino John Adams, and our very busy businessman Benny Adams, who has been very busy in the business arena, has some reports for us. Benny?
Well, it's a countdown to the end of year. We'll be reeling out some of the achievements, particularly in the monetary sector. Keep at it.
Okay, and Bade Adeleye has been in and out of the pitch lately. Bade, what's trending?
Well, Elizabeth, as Benny is counting down in the world of business, we're counting down to AFCON 2025. And of course, Nigeria's provisional list has been released.
Thank you, gentlemen, and don't forget to follow this newscast live on our website, nt.ng/live, and other handles displayed on the screen. Now the news. President Bola Tinubu calls on Nigerians to continue to reject divisible rhetoric and embrace respect, tolerance, and understanding while protecting the country's diversity as a natural national asset. The president made the appeal as he launched the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration emblem and appeal fund. State House correspondent Musbao Danwahab reports.
Assemblage of this day with the chiefs of the day. From the days of civil war to the current day multifaceted security challenges, the armed forces continue in defense of the Nigerian state. Thousands of them have paid the supreme price along the way. And as the Nigerian Legion is set for another cycle of fund appeal to support the veterans, widows and dependents of the Nigerian Armed Forces, President Bola Tinubu says the moment is a reminder of the cost of peace and the importance of national unity.
As a grateful nation, we must honor the fallen, support the wounded, and care for all who answer the call to serve.
The president says the commitment of his administration from inception will continue to manifest in various ways to strengthen indigenous defense capabilities and the welfare of personnel.
My administration has enhanced allowances, upgraded barracks, strengthening health care, expanded defense health maintenance limited services, and modernized pension verification. This reform reaffirms our commitment to dignity and support for those who serve our nation. I call on every Nigerian to reject divisive rhetoric and embrace respect, tolerance, and understanding. Our diversity is a natural national asset that must be projected and cherished.
These efforts reflect a national covenant that those who defend Nigeria shall never be forgotten, that their sacrifices shall never be taken for granted.
The Armed Forces of Nigeria will not relent in its efforts to deliver on our constitutional mandate. Our commitment to safeguarding the lives and property of all Nigerians remains absolute.
The president launched the fund with 200 million naira from the executive, while the president of the Senate supported with 100 million naira for the National Assembly, and Minister Nyesom Wike announced 20 million naira donation on behalf of the Federal Capital Territory. From the State House, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has demanded greater efficiency in strategies and results in the ongoing fight against insecurity in some parts of Nigeria. The president met with heads of intelligence agencies and service chiefs at the State House. The meeting this Tuesday lasted more than an hour behind closed doors. After the meeting, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oluyede, revealed that the meeting was quite engaging as the president gave new direction and issued directives intended to record better results in the fight against insecurity. The Chief of Defense Staff promised Nigerians that security agencies are coordinating better to ensure that Nigerians celebrate the Yuletide in peace. Still on security, President Bola Tinubu has nominated General Christopher Musa as the new Minister of Defense. In a letter to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, the President conveyed General Musa's nomination as the successor of Mohammed Badar Abubakar, who resigned on Monday. In a statement, the President says General Musa is a distinguished soldier who served as Chief of Defense Staff from 2023 until October 2025. He won the Colin Powell Award for Soldiering in 2012. President Tinubu expressed confidence in General Musa's ability to lead the Ministry of Defense and further strengthen Nigeria's security architecture. To Papiri abduction, the federal government has raised the hopes of parents and authorities of St. Mary's Private Catholic Primary and Secondary School, Papiri, where about 265 children and some of their teachers were abducted recently. The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, assured of safe return of the abductees when he visited the Catholic Bishop of Kontagora Diocese and proprietor of the school, Most Reverend Bulus Dawa Yohana, and affected parents. Husseina Musa has details.
The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, was received by Reverend Bulus Yohana, where he reassured the families of the captives and the school authority, disclosing that efforts have been intensified to ensure the safe return of all those in captivity.
Work is in progress, but we can assure you it's a matter of time. This thing will stop. We must stop it, and we are going to stop it. I'm telling you, enough is enough. We will not relent. We will not stop. We can give you the assurance that we are going to be there. It calls for us to stand together as one. Let's not allow bad people to divide us.
The management stand fully ready to collaborate with government security agencies and structured communication channels that can enhance intelligence gathering and overall security efforts to bring our children and staff home safely.
The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, who led the group into a closed-door meeting, also acknowledged the efforts of other European countries who are working with the Nigerian government to put an end to the menace of terrorism. Emena Husseina Musa, NTA News.
Now to the IPI conference, Nigerian journalists have been described as the nation's primary defense against authoritarian rule, as the federal government assures that press freedom remains a non-negotiable pillar of the Tinubu administration. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this at the 2025 conference and annual general meeting of the International Press Institute, Nigeria, in Abuja, themed addressing media repression and safeguarding democratic accountability in Nigeria. State House correspondent Musba Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
This book of infamy by IPI. A round of applause, please. Thank you.
This is the unveiling of the IPI Nigeria's Book of Infamy, and Vice President Kashim Shettima in the midst of these professionals who fought and are still putting endless efforts in the cause of ensuring press freedom.
You have confronted those who sought to suffocate this oxygen of our democracy. And in moments of national confusion, you step forward to correct misinformation.
Journalists have played a stabilizing role during moments of national tension by correcting misinformation and holding power to account. And Vice President Kashim Shettima affirmed the federal government's commitment to protecting media practitioners from harassment and intimidation.
My job is to report events as they are, and this cannot be easy without interests colliding. Yet the difficulty of the task does not diminish your essence, it only affirms your indispensability. We often fail to appreciate the Nigerian media enough, but the truth is unmistakable. It is impossible, utterly impossible, to have a successful dictator in Nigeria. And it is not for lack of trying. Never in our history has any person or government succeeded in suppressing the media permanently. You have stood firm in the coldest nights of national adversity, and you have outlived those who attempted to place their boats upon your freedom. You have been the life-size mirror of our nation, reflecting us not as we wish to be seen, but as we truly are.
He praised Nigeria's media community for its historic resilience in confronting authoritarian tendencies, stating that a successful dictatorship is impossible in the country due to the press vigilance, challenging media practitioners to maintain ethical standards, warning against those who fabricate stories and refuse retractions when confronted with evidence. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said the responsibility and commitment of the present leadership of the Nigerian media must uphold the presentation of facts, assuring that the Tinubu administration operates on the fundamental principles of an independent press in acknowledgement of the fact that a free press is the amplifier of an engaged citizenry.
The balance between national security, combating misinformation, and upholding absolute press freedom is a complex one, navigated by nations across the globe, not only in Nigeria. Our approach to this complexity is the most telling proof of our restraint.
Journalism is a tough, risky, and selfless public service. And if they get nothing for their sacrifice for society, journalists at least deserve respect and protection. Therefore, any further attack on journalists will be fiercely resisted going forward.
The professionals called for genuine collaboration among stakeholders in the country in promoting and enhancing independent journalism in Nigeria in the face of daunting challenges. In Abuja, Brahman Jibrila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, membership of the National Press Institute Nigeria is swelling with 51 new members inducted. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara reports that 6 management staff, including the Executive Director News Ayo Adewoye of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, are among the inductees.
As freedom fighting for journalists evolves, these panel discussions highlight improved human and technological development, multimedia and multi-stakeholder bonds as critical to improve public trust and guarantee the safety of journalists.
Any authority or any person, whether exercising legislative, executive, or judicial powers, who obstructs the media and the performance of its constitutional functions is violating the Constitution.
Culture, in my view, is so central to success in business and in life.
All other related media agencies in Nigeria should work together to protect Nigerian journalists.
High point was the induction of new members into the International Press Institute Nigeria.
Protecting the integrity of journalists and guiding journalists in the path of sustainable development and social responsibility.
Some other issues were discussed, such as protection of journalists, security for news media people, and then, of course, the other aspect of how to survive in an unfriendly financial environment.
It's an opportunity for ethical rebirth also to ensure that we hold ourselves to the highest standard of journalism.
The Institute is among many championing responsible media practices in Nigeria and globally. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
From the National Assembly, Senate is proposing the adoption of 112 as uniform number to call or text in Nigeria to report security breaches and other emergencies. Senate says the current practice of having multiple emergency numbers is an impediment to getting immediate response during distress. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali tells us more.
The National Emergency Toll Service Establishment Bill was among considerations as the Senate Tuesday. Sponsor of the bill, Senator Abdulaziz Eradua, who is also the Chairman Senate Committee on Army, said adoption of 112 as emergency number is to provide uniform, accessible and rapid emergency response when in distress.
An emergency service can identify the telephone number from the call that was placed. Telephone numbers are able to provide physical locations of mobile telephones, and these are often specifically mandated in a country's enabling legislation.
Our security community are always emphasizing or calling upon the general public to report what they see.
If we do this, I think we are enhancing and we are also contributing to solving the security challenges and other related criminalities or emergencies.
The bill scaled second reading. Bill to establish Nigeria Police Pension Board passed first reading, while bill to regulate online gaming and one other forwarded from the House for concurrence were passed.
This bill seeks to repeal the National Lottery Act number 7 of 2005 and the National Lottery Amendment Act number 6 of 2017.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, announced reconstitution of the Committee on National Security and Intelligence, Committee on Air Force, and 2 other committees. Meanwhile, Senate has paid tribute to Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi, who died last week Thursday.
He was a pillar of peace, unity, interfaith, harmony, and moral leadership.
May he rest permanently in Al-Jannah Firdausi.
A Senate delegation proceeded to Bauchi on condolence visit. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
You're watching the network news on NTA. Let's take a break. More reports when we return.
Heart of Owerri, business never sleeps, from sunrise to sundown.
Thanks for staying with us. Debates are continuing within the hallowed chambers of the Nigerian Senate on implementation of the proposed sugar-sweetened beverage tax introduced in 2022, as proponents of the tax raised questions to whether Nigeria should prioritize public health over economic benefits. The support and opposition to the sugar tax intensified when the Senate Joint Committee on Finance, Customs and Excise invited further deliberations on the matter. Support for the sugar tax was premised on the need to arrest the surge in non-communicable diseases due to increased consumption of sugar. Others on the floor of the Senate voiced opposition to its introduction, saying it will lead to further inflation.
It is just like a trade-off. Trade-off because whatever we are earning from the excise duties will be directed to, part of it should be directed to the health sector. So there's a trade-off here.
The narrative of sugar, that the sweetened beverages are dominant cause of non-communicable diseases, is not supported by data. Our belief is that we have found out that Nigeria has one of the lowest sugar consumption in the world, which is about average of 8.3 kilograms.
It's about 1.8 billion naira. Is it what you have generated domestically or even with the SSBs that are coming from other places being imported?
The tax wanted increased from the 10 naira as cited in the law to generate revenue, while at the same time discouraging sugary drink consumption. Discussions on the sugar tax continues. Now, the House of Representatives is advocating remittance of more than 30 billion naira meant for the National Social Investment Program Agency to carry out its functions. The House at Tuesday's plenary constituted and had a committee to trace the funds, which it says was recovered following a presidential probe by anti-graft agencies. National Assembly correspondent Papiri reports.
The House is seeking the whereabouts of billions of naira recovered after President Tinubu ordered an investigation into alleged financial infractions in the social investment programs. Lawmakers lament that the programs are now in limbo and needs to be resuscitated.
Credible sources have indicated that these recovered funds, estimated at over 30 billion, have not been remitted into NCPA's designated Treasury single account, thereby stalling program implementation.
The House condemned the killing of 5 policemen during a lawful operation in Darazo local government area of Bauchi State, calling for justice and compensation for families of the affected personnel.
Disturbed that the credible intelligence linking the attack to armed group resisting the arrest of the dethroned hamlet head of Sabon Sara village, whose actions pose a continued threat to security and community stability.
Mandate the relevant security agencies to immediately deploy additional security personnel to Zalau town and surrounding communities to restore order, reinforce surveillance, and deter further attacks.
Meanwhile, the House is set to investigate compliance with decommissioning and abandonment regulations across Nigeria's petroleum industry with an ad hoc committee inaugurated for the probe.
This includes evaluating whether operators have made adequate financial arrangement to meet their obligations so that the country does not face future environmental operational burdens.
To assess regulators' enforcement, including oversight approval process, rig-based monitoring and institutional capacity.
Lawmakers say the probe has become necessary to ensure strict adherence to the Petroleum Industry Act. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben.
To livestock development, Enugu State is on the verge of becoming a world-class livestock destination following the groundbreaking of a multi-million-dollar integrated livestock development center championed by the state government Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project. Yusuf Jika reports.
With 15,000 hectares integrated livestock development center, Enugu will not only provide a model of excellence in livestock businesses, but serve as the future where economic opportunities abound. This, the governor of Enugu State and the Minister of Livestock Development said, the feat achieved cannot be quantified in the transformation drive of the industry.
The facility we intend to do here is to meet international standards.
We cannot continue moving live animals from Maiduguri to Enugu. We must establish branches all over the place with abattoir operations and cold chain packaging system.
This is the second model veterinary hospital equipped with the state-of-the-art facility inaugurated within 1 week by the Minister of Livestock Development, facilitated by Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project.
This aligns squarely with the Nigerian Livestock Growth Acceleration Strategy (NLGAS), our national blueprint for sectoral transformation, guided by the renewal agenda of His Excellency, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to celebrate a decisive step in our nation's journey toward modern, science-driven, and resilient livestock development.
With this, the facility is expected to ensure no animal is lost or slaughtered due to preventable or related diseases. In Enugu, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
In other news, Cross River State Governor Basi Otu has kicked off the 32-day carnival, Calabar and festival with a Christmas tree lighting while honoring past democratically elected governors of the state for their impactful leadership and contributions to the state's development. The governor pledged to build on legacies of his predecessors, translating development potentials of the state into tangible benefits for citizens.
December 1st, every year, marks a special day in Cross River State's festival calendar as the Christmas tree lighting ceremony kicks off the 32-day activities for Carnival, Calabar and Festival. This year's edition is spectacular as Governor Tu leads the celebration, paying tributes to past governors, highlighting their contributions to human capital, tourism, rural development, industrialization, and more.
As we pass the door of this life tonight, let us reflect on our journey and look forward to a brighter future.
Those honored are former Governor Clement Ebri, Donald Duke, Leo Imoke and Ben Ayade. There were lively performances by popular Nigerian celebrities with music, comedy, and other entertainments that got the crowd in a festive mood.
They asked me today, how do you see our sweet prince? I said, I never lick him.
The tree lighting ceremony marks the beginning of activities and fun, which makes Calabar the place to be during the Yuletide. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
Now, a new hostel built entirely from the 500 million prize won in the 2022-2023 National Tertiary Admissions Performance Merit CIPM Award by the University of Ilorin has been unveiled. The facility, known as the JAMB Merit Awards International Hostel, was formally inaugurated by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board.
This monetary recognition began with a sum of 25 million naira in 2018. It has grown exponentially, with institutions receiving as much as 500 million naira now. The award, created to promote healthy competition, transparency and excellence within Nigeria's tertiary education system, rewards institutions that comply with JAMB's admission policies and guidelines based on the clearly defined criteria of timely completion of admissions, processing admissions through CAPS, prompt submission of matriculation lists, and adherence to approved admission ratios. In the 2022-2023 academic session, which marked the fourth edition of the award, the University of Ilorin emerged as the overall best institution in Nigeria, earning the prize money of 500 million naira.
The mega award covers all 5 segments at the fourth edition of the award. Congratulations.
From reward to positive reality, the funds won was used for the construction of this edifice named JAMB Merit Awards International Hostel. JAMB Registrar Professor Isha Koloede encouraged the University of Ilorin to put the hostel into judicious use.
We give you 40 million every year for the maintenance, provided you maintain your first position. Then in the next 5 years, you can be ready for another one so that you can go, this can go around the institution.
I look forward to the day when this university will be in the forefront of giving us homegrown technology.
The examination body says the initiative aims to foster excellence, enhance transparency, and strengthen national unity through fair and inclusive admission practices that reflect the country's diversity.
Talking pilgrimage, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria signed a landmark agreement aimed at easing the financial and logistical burden on prospective pilgrims. Tafawa Hamza Mayor has details of how this new collaboration will change the Hajj saving process.
This agreement is designed to directly address the primary challenges facing intending pilgrims, financial burden and logistical planning. For years, NACON has championed the Hajj Savings Scheme, a critical program allowing citizens to save gradually for their pilgrimage.
This partnership reflects our shared commitment to ease the burden on our pilgrims. We are working together hand in hand with Jazz Bank before now to increase the number of banks. Doesn't mean anything.
We have the potential to beat the savings scheme of Malaysia. Looking at our number, looking at the experience and the fact that, today we are dealing with people who have the experience of managing the Hajj, and we also have capable banks.
NACON officials are optimistic that the registration and savings process for the upcoming Hajj session will be significantly smoother and far more inclusive. In Abuja, Tafawa Hamza Mayo, NTA News.
This is NTA and you're watching the network news at 9. It's time to join Hingino in Lagos for some reports. Hingino, nice to see you.
And welcome to Lagos. Nigeria's sole regulatory body for human resource practice,
The Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPM, has continued to raise the bar of professional standards, which has deepened its credibility and membership strength with the induction of 1,261 members at the 68th induction ceremony of CIPM in Lagos. Joel Pupola reports that outstanding students were rewarded with cash prizes for their performance in the examination.
For these 1,261 inductees who are now members of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, their new status, which has now opened more opportunities for them, did not come on a platter. Most of them had to scale through the professional examination route, while some others joined CIPM through the HR practitioners route, or passing through the eye of the needle to be inducted by the President, Malam Ahmed Ladan Gobir. President and Chairman Governing Council CIPM, Malam Ahmed Ladan Gobir, and other speakers say the CIPM remains resolute in maintaining its credibility, urging the new members to continue to develop themselves and align with best practice in the profession.
Whether in the public or in the private sector, members of the institute ensure that they conduct themselves, strictly within the confines, of the law established in the institute and the practice direction.
We have offer a multitude of opportunities and benefits. CIPM, collaboration with CIPD UK. We're also in collaboration with CPHR in Canada, and that makes our members global HR practitioners.
The guest speaker, Olukayo Deabe, a fellow of the CIPM, who spoke on the topic beyond engagement to fulfillment, charged the new members to make a difference in the profession.
Fulfillment makes you belong, and it enables you to get value and create value with the work you do.
The overall best students in each diet received over 500,000 naira, including an all-expenses paid trip to the 2026 conference of the CIPM.
I have learned what it means to be an HR, and I can actually go out there and also impact others.
I'll keep upskilling because learning doesn't stop.
As the new members continue to celebrate their achievements, the consensus is for them to sustain the tempo of learning to get to the peak of the profession, just like these fellows. In Lagos, Joel Mukbuola, NTA News.
The federal government is rolling out a combination of transport relief and skills development programs to support students and young Nigerians following the removal of fuel subsidy. From electric tricycles on campuses to nationwide vocational training, authorities say the goal is to reduce hardship and prepare the youth for the future. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports.
In line with its renewed hope agenda, the federal government has unveiled a dual-track support program for students and youths combining campus transport relief with a nationwide vocational skills drive. Several universities are now receiving electric tricycles and solar charging stations to reduce transportation costs, while others are being equipped with CNG-powered vehicles and refueling infrastructure. The Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, says the plan is to extend the program to cover all tertiary institutions in the country.
We're also deploying independent mini-grid across our tertiary institutions. We've built about 24 in all so far that put our universities off-grid. We're building between 3 megahertz to 12 megahertz, and we are hoping that about 75% of all our tertiary institutions would have either their independent mini-grid construction started or fully operational.
Meanwhile, a large-scale skills training initiative has also been launched, targeting fashion design, solar installation, vehicle repairs, plumbing, and ICT maintenance. The minister says thousands of youths are already enrolled across hundreds of accredited centers nationwide, adding that each participant receives hands-on training and a starter pack suited to their trade. Graduates, he adds, will also have access to business financing through the Bank of Industry alongside placement opportunities via a national job portal.
The first cohort we're training about 250,000. As of today, we have about 130,000 of these students that you're seeing here in over 1,600 centers, all across 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory.
The intervention forms part of President Bola Tinubu's broader drive towards energy transition, youth empowerment, and sustainable economic growth.
That's it from here. Network News continues in Abuja after the break.
Now let's beam our searchlight on aviation. The three-day inaugural Nigerian International Air Show has opened in Abuja. Declaring the event open, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, who stood in for President Bola Tinubu, reaffirmed government's commitment to making Nigeria the aviation hub of West and Central Africa through public-private partnership. Aliyu Kabir reports that leading project management and airport solutions provider Avike DN Limited is among the 40 exhibitors at the air show.
The maiden edition of the Nigerian International Air Show was incorporated into the Nigerian Aviation Centenary celebrations, bringing together participants and investors in the aviation industry. It serves as a platform for dialogue, partnerships, and transformative ideas that will shape the future of travel, defense, and space explorations across the continent. Declaring the air show open, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, underscored the sector's 2.5% contribution to the nation's GDP.
Our goal is clear: to make Nigeria the aviation hub of West and Central Africa through public-private partnerships, investment in training centers, and plans for aircraft component manufacturing. We're building a sustainable ecosystem that creates jobs, drives innovation, and strengthens our economy.
Under the renewed hope agenda, aviation has emerged as one of the fastest advancing sectors, with transformative milestones that are reshaping Nigeria's status as a regional powerhouse.
A leading project management and airport solution provider specializing in the development of both greenfield and brownfield airports, Avik KDN Limited remains resolute in airport development through strategic partnerships.
We are a company from China, so we were providing our service solution around with two major entities. We do civil construction on the air side. Second part on the land side on the airport, using all the modern IT systems to improving the airport efficiency.
We may bring the new aircraft, bring a high quality aircraft, and then based on that, we should build the MRO and all maintenance, and build a good cabin crew, the trainings, everything. So also for our main job, the construction for airport.
During the panel, discussions centered on financing, infrastructure development, and sustainability for the overall development of the sector. The highlight of the event was the aerial display by the officers of the Nigerian Air Force. In Abuja, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
In other news, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board has again renewed the board's resolve to boost local content partnerships, drive job creation, economic growth, and regional integration. This was brought to the fore at this year's Practical Nigerian Content Forum in Yenagwa, Bayelsa State, where Minister of State Petroleum Resources reiterated federal government's commitment to fostering competitive business environment in the oil and gas sector. Ebimini Zitimiola reports.
2025 Practical Nigerian Content Forum, the 14th in the series on the theme Strengthening Local Content and Scaling Energy Production, brought together government and industry leaders.
Nigeria is ready for business. Things are different. Our legal and regulatory frameworks are stable. Our fiscal terms are globally competitive.
Local content is no longer a policy. It is now a national imperative and a strategic economic pillar.
Invitation to the IOCs and the LOCs to join forces with the community in long-term partnership designed to deepen local content enforcement.
Bayelsa is investing in vocational and technical schools and creating incentives for universities to adopt practical industry-aligned research.
A major highlight of the forum was the signing of an MOU between the NCDMB and the Bank of Industry for the Nigerian Content Intervention Fund Equity Scheme.
The finance scheme will provide equity financing to high-growth indigenous energy service companies while diversifying our NCDF income base and strengthening local content development.
Nigeria's pioneering local content model has rightly inspired peers across the African continent.
There was exhibition sessions showcasing Nigerian companies driving innovation. Ebinemizi Timiola, NTA News.
And because money matters, let's join our busy businessman Benny Adams for some business reports. Benny?
Thank you, Elizabeth. And talking business, the Central Bank of Nigeria says strengthening the banking system, delivering durable price stability, modernizing payments, fostering responsible fintech innovation, and deepening partnerships with regulators and global partners are its key priorities for the year 2026. The governor of the Central Bank, Olayemi Cardozo, stated this while highlighting the achievement of the Apex Bank from the year 2024 to date. He noted that through strong policy reforms, the bank has been able to maintain economic stability, citing progress in restoring stability to the macroeconomic environment and improving investor confidence. As a major turnaround, he noted that inflation had more than halved within a year. The governor assured that Nigeria's banking system remains fundamentally sound and resilient. The Apex Bank leadership also emphasized the importance of collaboration and sustained reforms in tackling insecurity.
The unification of the multiple exchange rate windows. Today, the once crippling multi-billion-dollar FX backlog has been fully cleared, restoring credibility and giving businesses the confidence to plan. Foreign capital inflows reached $20.98 billion in the first 10 months of 2025, a 70% increase over 2024.
Talking about management, the project management stakeholders across public and private sectors in the country are advocating compliance to project management rules to avoid loss of lives and revenue. The dialogue in Abuja is aimed at strengthening regulation with a view to better shape policies that regulate this sector. The policy dialogue is coming on the heels of reports that put worth of abandoned projects at 17 trillion naira and $4 billion spent on corrective works on projects delivered, according to the World Bank.
The means, the style of delivering these projects, they're all set standards, set styles that must be used. So we have to make sure that people who are trained in these methodologies, who know how to use these frameworks, use it, are the ones who should be leading project management in Nigeria.
Can do any projects, but please, are you certified to do it? Make sure that things work out very well in terms of project delivery, supervision, and so on and so forth. Even enforcement, the regulations, enforcement and that will help the institution.
And a quick look at the market. The numbers show that at the end of trading today on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 602.772 million shares in 14,781 deals corresponding to a market value of 17.208 billion were traded. In South Africa, it is a downward trend of 1.13%, while in Tunisia, it's been an upbeat of 0.08%. That is it on business at this time. But do stay as we go for another commercial break.
Little buddy.
Is sports updates.
Many thanks, Elizabeth. And of course, let's begin with table tennis as winners have emerged at the inaugural Governor Diri Top 16 National Table Tennis Championship concluded in Yenagoa after 2 days of intense rallies, impressive performances, and the crowning of new national champions. Governor Diri of Bayelsa State, while praising the level of competitiveness at the championship, declared that the next edition will be bigger and better.
Our duty as sports administrators in Bayelsa is to ensure that we nurture these talents, we support them so that they can be the best they can possibly be.
To football now, head coach of Nigeria, Eric Chelle, has released a 55-man provisional squad list for Nigeria ahead of the 35th Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. The squad, announced via the team's official social media handle on Tuesday, includes an unusually large pool across every department, including 6 goalkeepers, 13 defenders, 12 midfielders, and 23 forwards, as Chelle continues to cast his net wide ahead of Nigeria's final selection. The Super Eagles begin campaign in Egypt on 10th of December, and they will play friendly matches before the tournament begins on the 21st of December. Nigeria is in Group C with Tanzania, Tunisia, and Uganda. That does it on Sports Tonight. Let's now return to Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Buddy, for the updates. And that's the news. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Elizabeth Omori.